The Stack. People, Business, Technology. With Dan Tomaszewski of Everything MSP.
Hello, everybody. Dan Tomaszewski here. Hope you are doing awesome. I want to welcome you to this week's edition of The Stack, where we focus on people, business, and technology. Today, we're going to turn the tables a bit on a common growth strategy, attending events. Now, we're not talking about, attending the usual tech conferences. We're going to go, step outside of the box, step outside that IT bubble, and connect with potential clients where they are at. Now, we're going to be joined by Eric Weber with Mindmatrix, and he's going to share some insights into why this strategy is both often overlooked and how MSPs can leverage it to supercharge their growth. So let's go ahead and bring Eric in here. And there is Eric. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Dan. Doing good. Thanks for having me again.
It's great to see you, man. And we're talking about something that's near and dear to both of our hearts, and that is the marketing world, right?
Always fun. Always a great topic for MSPs. They love it.
Absolutely. In fact, when we take a look at, some of the areas of interest for MSPs from a topic perspective, marketing is always one of those at the top of the list. Now, of course, security is always a critical area. We
Yes.
talk a lot about security, but marketing, trying to reach prospective clients, trying to find new business, drive that growth is critical. And we're gonna talk about expanding on our discussion. We've talked about growth stack, which is a word that you have coined, and I love that term, man. I mean, we all talk about the stack as it relates to the technology stack, but we really have to focus on the growth stack. And and we're gonna shift it a little bit, like I mentioned in my intro, and talk more about the focus on trade shows and events that MSPs can attend where their potential clients are, right?
That's right. Right. I mean, you're great at attending the ones that you and I go to. We see a lot of the same folks, and you see it from the attendee side, but what happens when you want to go do it yourself, and now you're the vendor, and you have people. So it's, we've all seen somebody do something and think, I can go do that. It's easy, and it really isn't. But like everything, it takes a little bit of planning, some common sense, execute upon said plan, and rinse, wash, repeat.
And I think, when we start talking about this topic, it's not that MSPs don't go to events that could potentially, help drive business, because there might be a chamber event, or there, could be maybe they're part of like a BNI group or something like that.
Yeah, they don't have to be big ones like the shows we go to.
Yeah, but there's so much more though, right? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of industry events that are, if you're focused on a specific vertical, such as maybe CPA firms or financial planners, a lot of times there are local chapters of, associations that would be having those events, and those potential clients are there to get educated, and and why not rub elbows there?
Absolutely. People got to know you exist, and this is where it helps to maybe have a couple verticals that you work with. And I think on the last one, talking about growth stack, I talk with many, and they're like, we kind of take everything. And hey, when you're starting out, I get you're scrapping for everything. Hey, if the money's green, sure, you're a client.
Right.
But when you've gotten to that point now, it's like, all right, doing good. Let's start marketing, get out there. Like, you have your business right. Now you're ready to go out and work, because you've kind of found that routine that works for you.
Yep.
So just saying we'll take everything, not so much of a plan now for the next phase. You want to get a little bit more detailed. So I would say having 2 to 3 is great, but pick 2 or 3 that, one, you get great margins on, they're easy to onboard, great to work with. I mean, you don't want to make life any harder than you need to.
Sure.
It's just like ordering off the menu. You're going to pick something that you want. Now, if it's inbound, or it's a referral, the money's green, sure, you take it. But that's the approach you want to take going out to these shows. You want to be more, specific. Otherwise you're going to be spraying and praying and hoping for the best, and might not have a good show then, turning off to the idea. So that's what we want to do today. Talk about some planning, some do's and don'ts, things of that.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I get it. We've all started somewhere, and we're all looking to, get whatever revenue we possibly can, because we need to establish ourselves. We need to be able to have revenue coming in so that, we can add the staff we need. We can have the funds coming in to be able to do the marketing. But eventually we look and say, there are some clients that are, a better fit than others. There's some industries that are a better fit than others. And, maybe there's some underserved areas that, MSPs aren't targeting in the market that you live in. And so you gotta kind of figure out what is best for you. Not only from a perspective of, your overall staff capabilities, the technology stack that you're focused on, et cetera, et cetera. But, one question I have for you is, what do you look for, whether it's a trade show or an event, what do you look for in that event to say, hey, I want to either sponsor that event or I want to go to that event so that I can, rub elbows with potential clients? What are some of the thoughts that you have in that area?
So whenever we looked at doing something new, we would go walk it first, just as an attendee, because we want to see what's the turnout, vendors are there, what kind of education tracks, what type of employees is the company sending there? Are there decision makers? You need to send support staff,
right?
A bit mix of everything. Cost, obviously, that's a big one. Is it affordable? But I really want to know, am I going to get the list? That's important. Some do, some don't. So that way, when you're talking with people, you don't really have to worry so much about, getting referred, or if they didn't have one anyway. I still try to, but that's like your backup. And sometimes things work if they didn't opt in. But yeah, a mixture of the list, pricing, how long have they been doing this show? Is this the first inaugural one, or has this been going on for a couple of years? The only way that's gone to one. Like, these are all basic things, nothing out of the ordinary. But it's formulating that checklist to go down there, because you're now spending money on something that you haven't done before. And you want to get a return on that investment. So when you're going into that unknown world there, you want to be as prepared as possible.
Well, you brought up a interesting point as far as, who are those attendees? Are they true decision makers, or are maybe are they sales reps? I see that more so when it comes to chamber events and the different size of chamber events. A lot of times, at least in our market, the smaller chambers, like the, more of the suburb type chamber events, typically have, are more the decision makers. They're the business owners that are attending those. Whereas, and again, at least in my market, the very large chamber events, often those are sales reps that are working for larger companies, and they may or may not be, you're into that organization. So, but yeah, just getting a feel for who those attendees are, really, it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. Because if you're talking to a bunch of non-decision makers, how far are you going to get?
Right. Yeah.
And sometimes, like we do MSP shows, it's easier to get to a decision maker. But channel shows, sometimes you can't, because they are large corporations. So you have to take a different approach. That info call, you're just trying to get as much information as you can to determine, is it worth, finding somebody else in this organization, or, going up another ladder, different department and whatnot. It's just information. And if there's nothing there, then you don't want to spend all that time getting a decision maker just for them to say, yeah, totally not a fit with us. You've wasted.
We know sales isn't easy, but, if you're, if every person that you're getting in front of isn't a decision maker, and you're really having to work extra hard, to try to, work through that channel of them, through them,
Yeah.
to be able to get to a decision maker, versus if you're going to an event where, those business owners, business leaders, those, the leadership team are there, it's a bit easier to get to who you want to speak to, and time is money.
Yeah, I mean, and most of these events too, I mean, they're going to have somebody that you know,
Yeah.
hey, do you get the list? What's it cost? What types of people are there? Well, what numbers have you seen in the past that's, regards to turnout, and so forth. I mean, you start with small stuff first, something that's free to attend, or whatnot. But like I said, walk the event first, see if it's going to be for you. Because the only thing, if it's not, you've wasted was your time. It didn't cost you anything.
So when you've, once you've done that walkthrough, you have identified that, this might be the right fit for us. This is, an event that's going to, give us some type of a ROI. What are your preparation steps? How do you prepare to go to that event and be able to tackle it?
Excellent question. So one, as far as preparation, what I typically do, and we do as a whole here, if they have a website there for that event, like IT Nation, you can see stuff about who's going to be there, vendors, but something small like Chamber of Commerce, you might not.
Right.
So one, you want to go on the website, get all the information there, because you want to promote the event as well too through social media. Hey, I'm going to be here on this day. LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. I mean, they can be basic stuff.
Yeah.
Or if you see some of the speakers that are going to be there, connect with them on LinkedIn. That way, you have a list. I need to know I have to talk to these people while I'm there. In addition to prospecting for some other business, because if they're the speaker, they're kind of a little more in the know there. It's always good to know them. But I mean, it's a chain reaction. You've seen it happen a million times as well. Everything starts here, and before you know it, you're over there.
Yeah.
But, put it on your website. I'm going to be here. Take it down the next day. Or even maybe a little tag in your email signature. I'm going to be here this day. Try and get other people to come as well. Bring a client. So we've done that before. When you have a client behind your booth selling for you, it's pretty powerful. Right. Close rate's pretty high. Because they're the same type of person. But while you're going, I mean, those are some of the pre-things before you can get there. So promote it, have it on your website, connect with people, find out as much as humanly possible. But you got to have a plan once you look it. Why are you there? Be there to prospect for new business. Sometimes maybe you're just there to rub elbows with clients, the flesh, let them know you're still out there and you're doing well.
Right.
So have a clear goal in mind. Now, this is just for myself, but I try to generate about 30 times a pipeline through whatever cards, appointment sets, because you're not going to close 30 cases. I might get maybe 20 to 30% of that I'm pretty happy.
Sure.
But again, going back to if there is a cost that you have to weigh out for this, you sort of have to reverse engineer. How many deals is this going to take to make it work? And then you kind of extrapolate your own, whatever pipeline that's going to be. That's just what it is for me.
Okay.
So you're biting off a big amount. You're probably going to get a very small chunk of that, which is why you want to talk to as many people as you can. And that's what you're there for, to BS.
And not be afraid of the cost associated with that particular event, because I mean, we have to spend money to make money, obviously. That should go without saying. I want to throw out one other thing too is, while we all see in large IT events that we go to where there's an event application or event app that's available and you can see who's there, I always love going through that. I'm starting to see that happen. Yeah. And I'm starting to see that now for, some of those smaller local events that are, again, non-IT related, but more where our clients are. Again, it could be, a chamber event, but I'm more so talking about some of those smaller industry events, in that particular vertical that you may be focused on. if you can see who's there and you can shoot them a message ahead of time and just let them know, hey, I'm going to be at this event. I would love to, get a few minutes with you. Just kind of setting the stage.
Absolutely. That's why it's great to connect on LinkedIn. If you can even get, an email somehow, that's good. Now, one thing also, too, while you're there, you got to be able to tell people what you do,
Right.
very easily, the elevator pitches.
Yeah.
I'd have a 30-second, a 15-second, and a 5-second one ready.
Okay.
And I've only just done this. I was talking with our CRO about a month or so ago, and he brought that up. He goes, "What would yours be?" So we sat there and kind of concocted some, just for the sake of it. I'm like, "Well, what is it?" So, I mean, if somebody asks me now, 30 seconds, hey, Mindmatrix provides, a channel ecosystem enablement for vendors that sell through partnerships channel, automate, enable their partners to sell more. Now, or 15, partner relationship and ecosystem management, that vendors enable and automate the channel partners that they sell. 5, partner automation and enablement.
Well, tell me, how do you, if I love that, having 3 different ones, each one, obviously you're expanding what you're explaining as you have more time. So how are you deciding when to pull out 5, 15, or 30 seconds?
Depending on the situation. Say, we're at the aquarium there down in Georgia, Channel Con, and getting off the bus. Hey, what do you do real quick? Hey, partner automation and enablement. Call me.
There you go.
Or you're at the booth, tell me a little bit about what you do. Then you have more time for a more lengthy explanation.
Yep.
But even just simple things, preparing there, you don't want to be doing work at the I try to be outside the booth as much as possible and standing as much as possible. You want to be engageable or approachable.
So you want to
walk behind. Yeah. It is a literal barrier, that table.
Yeah.
But, when I walk by, especially during like a solution hall and people are sitting there doing work, I'm like, I'm just going to keep walking. I mean, they look busy. I would want to.
Yeah.
The guy standing out and say, hey, how's it going? I'm like, not bad. What do you do? Enablement and ecosystem stuff. What do you do? There you go. Conversation started now. Roll with it.
Pulling them in.
Yeah, but another benefit, too, is maybe there's somebody else like you there. Is there a potential for a partnership? Maybe they might fill a gap that you don't do, or vice versa. They may have a whole book of business that you might be able to jump into.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's lots of opportunities out there. That you want to be presentable. I mean, business casual mostly. I mean, even athleisure now, but for typical jacket, jeans and nice shoes. But staying low with the arms folded. Look like somebody you want to buy.
Yeah, presentation is so critical, right? I mean, it is interesting. You walk by some booths, and I never understand why they have chairs, because, you walk by a booth and you see someone sitting, and it's quite a put off, right? Because it's like, or if they're on their phone, whether it's talking or just cruising through whatever, maybe.
I try to leave it on the table, so I'm not even tempted to grab it.
Yeah. I mean, because, first impressions definitely count, and, you're paying a lot of money to be at an event, and, you want to get your return on your investment.
Yep. So I got to have that goal, the X amount of pipeline, reverse engineer it, so you kind of know where you're at in the day. So you need to step it up. Am I doing pretty good? Go for the stretch goal, or...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at Verizon, a lot of times, I mean, just, the buttons are lined up with the zipper, the tie was good, it didn't go way down past my belt, clean shaven. The guys at the T-Mobile station down there, and like, shove it a little bit. I've even had people tell me, like, yeah, you look more presentable, so we figured we'd stop here first.
Right.
Gotcha. I mean, it's just, easy things everybody can do. And common sense, but stuff we don't think of. It makes me too late. That's what a lot of sales is. Marketing is just looking.
You gotta plan for this, but we all heard know the term read the room, right? You gotta read the room. So dress based on what you think the audience is going to be, who's going to be there and how they are going to be dressed, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go back. This is going to go back to 99, 2000 time frame. I had an interview for a technology startup that was based out of Santa Clara, California. And, those were the days I was always wearing a suit, anything business related.
Yeah.
I had, suit, tie, everything. And I remember going to this interview and they looked at me and they're like, you're in Silicon Valley, right? You are overdressed. And,
Here's your sandals.
right.
Barking thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and that was my first, that was quite a learning lesson to, dress to the occasion. And, yeah. So, but the thing is, we, overall, I think across the board, things have gotten much more casual, like you said, business casual. But I think some take that too far, right? Where you might wear sneakers. I don't personally, but you might wear some sneakers, but are they clean? I mean, we shouldn't have to be talking about this, right?
Yeah.
Or the jeans that you're wearing. Wear jeans.
Don't have holes though.
Don't have holes.
Save those for Friday night, or Saturday.
Right. Have them. Yeah. And the business casual component of it is, there are some jeans that look like you're gonna go painting, and there's jeans that still look professional. And again,
because they're more expensive doesn't mean they're right for it.
Right. And I mean, it might seem weird to our audience that we're having this type of conversation, but we have to,
I like some of the athleisure stuff. I try to be a little choice with it. I definitely like the comfy shoes. I mean, after the on clouds, probably never going back, but
right.
Yeah. Then you got to have a nice pair of pants and maybe a blazer. That way it rounds out. Just look the part. Perception is reality.
Yep. So, we're kind of jumping into some of those do's and don'ts. What are some other, areas of do's and don'ts would you recommend?
Well, one of the do's would actually be a post-event follow-up. What do you do once the event's wrapped?
Yeah.
Because you did all your planning, you did your research, you went there, you executed, you talked with a bunch of people. You're high on life right now because you had like 20 great conversations, close everything, make $1 million this year. It's gonna be great.
Yep.
Then you go home, phone's ringing, wife's talking to you. It's like you're back, and you just forgot about where you were. Out of sight, out of mind. I can't tell you how often this happens. Because now, you got a couple of days, depending on how long the event was, you got to catch up.
Yeah.
Life's not going to wait. Business still needs run. So
yeah, depending on what your role is in the organization, if you're a smaller MSP and you're still ingrained within or entrenched, I should say, into the environment, you're still coming back in and doing work. Now you might be, elevated to a point where you've got a team of people. So you're a larger MSP, you've got a team of people and you're focused more on sales. You might get back and you've got other leads and opportunities that you've been working on. You've got to get some quotes out. You got to get a proposal prepared. And so it's easy to lose track, of these new opportunities. And when we have this excitement and we've had these great conversations, the last thing we want to do is have them, drop off to a point where you've lost their interest because you've waited too long. How quickly, should you be responding when you get back?
Excellent question. So to avoid having a desk drawer full of business cards, that nobody knows in there, which happens a lot of times. One of the desks out there with a lot of cards.
Yeah.
Nobody knows about it. So when we get back from a trade show, actually this starts a little bit before. If it's a multiple day show, that night, I want to reach out and connect with people on LinkedIn. I don't say anything like, "Hey, it was great meeting me today." Just click send.
Okay.
But it's going to be a handful. Takes you a minute, 2 minutes tops before you go to bed and you're closing your stuff out. But connect with them on LinkedIn. And I'm actually going to go back to a point from, I don't know if it was on the growth stack, but it was in a presentation I did. When you're at the plane or if you drove or whatnot, but when the event's over and you get into your car or plane or whatnot there, pull out your phone and you got to find a time for next week where you're going to block everything and you're going to focus on this. You're shutting the email down, you're shutting everything else because you know it'll be fun. Put it for a time of the week when you don't want to do anything else, like Friday afternoon, or if it's time for that. So once you have that space blocked off, keep it at the same time every week. It's got to be a routine. Because if I do it Monday and then I don't do it any other Monday, I mean, what good was it? You did a lot. Nobody knows.
And if you don't plan for it, it's going to be, like I said earlier, out of sight, out of mind. You're going to forget about it.
Yeah, if I hear a loud noise over there once, I forget about it. But if I hear it every Monday at noon, we're like, what the heck's going on? I might be compelled to look. Yeah. So once you have your space set, you got the routine built, you're going in there. I usually, when I get back, we load everybody in. We create a recipient. It's a segment. We just name it whatever the name of the show was. Year, name of the show. I put them right on a drip. That way they're going to get an email from me once every 10, 14, however many days it is. Connect them with them on LinkedIn. And now, I would usually write A, B, or C on my cards on level of goodness I thought that it was.
Sure.
Over the days, work your way back. But this is where a playbook comes. A simple step-by-step case. With that what to say, how to say, when to say. Let's say you got 10 business cards at this show. What's your process to follow up? How often are you going to do it? When are you going to call it quits? What's the plan? So they say between 5 and 12 touch-ins are what it takes. Some more, some less. But you put them on a drip. You connected with them before you left the show on LinkedIn already. Now there's 2 automated touch-points going out. I usually like to wait. With our shows, usually when everybody else is in that week, I like to be the cool guy that shows up late to the party. Or I'll call them next week. I've gotten a little more out of it that way too. Rather than being the first to rush through the door. But if it was something like at the chamber, then tomorrow it's fine. Again, reading the room, just kind of on what you feel. Yeah. Hey, I'll be doing questions you're going to ask them, how many steps there, but have that plan and move them all through. Because once you're through it, then they're still on the drip campaign. They still see a LinkedIn post if you're out there. So you're still staying in front of them. And they know that you were there. They're seeing your stuff. They're interested, they'll get back.
Right. So, taking a look, one other thing too I wanted to add in that is, also during the conversation you have with them, they might tell you, where their level of interest is. I remember back to, and this is going to date back to one of our first MSP clients, many, many moons ago. It was a chamber event. It was a 10-minute presentation, and we pitched what managed services can do for them. A person from this organization came up to me and said, we've been looking to do something different. We have never really known what, and what you just explained sounds exactly what we need. And we will get back to you. It's probably going to be, in the next 3 months because we're going through the steps.
Yeah.
And now, of course, I thought, I'll never hear from them again type thing. You get the negative thoughts, right? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And so, I put it in my calendar as far as a future follow-up. And sure enough, they actually reached out to me ahead of that. But, also just adjust, your contact time frame based on, what their, what that discussion was and what their needs are. Yeah.
I was breaking down the booth at ChannelCon. There's one guy walking by like, hey, how's it going? Oh, my mate. Yeah, you were one people I wanted to talk to. What do you do, man? Shook hands and whatnot.
Yeah.
He gave him like a 10-second synopsis. And I was like, all right. He's like, yeah, give me a call next week. Set up a demo, and he's like, I'm not looking to do anything until 25. He's like, I need to gather my info. I'm like,
Right.
call him next week. Showed him this here. You know, it was probably 15 minutes. He's like, yep, let's set up a in-depth demo for next week. Went through all of that. He's like, all right, check in, end of October and see if the plans are still on. I'm like, great, perfect. Like, easy peasy. That was or some. They're like, hey, you do anything right now? I'm like, I'll send you some stuff right after the show just so you have it, and then I'll follow up with you with this date. You know, if there's anything that they mentioned that they were interested in, like their baseball or something, like, I was like, hey, how's this going? Or like, sometimes you don't have anything, but if there is, I'll put that in. So anytime I get something like that, it's like, they went the extra mile. That was kind of cool. I'll answer them. No, it's a bad time, or yes, let's talk. But at least you're getting, a definitive way,
Yep. So as we're wrapping up here, we've talked about several different things. We're talking about some drip campaigns, sales playbooks, entering in, them into some type of a database. You guys obviously, as an organization, Mindmatrix helps MSPs in this area. So give us your 30-second elevator pitch as far as how Mindmatrix can help an MSP with this process.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a well-rounded growth stack. What we do is we consolidate the planning, the content, the actual platform itself to be the infrastructure delivery vehicle, integration into your PSA or CRM for the tools and the supplies, and then the most important piece, you have the human help and guidance through the concierge and consulting teams. Concierge to help you with the busy and grunt work, reporting contacts, content editing, and the consultant to help be the success driver there for you.
Okay.
Human help and guidance, tools and supplies, all rolled up into one.
Excellent. And you guys have a promo, a Q4 promo. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, 10% off of the licensing for either program, and then increased concierge hours per month on top of whatever comes with that program.
Okay. And so if, other than going directly to our website at everythingmsp.com and searching for Mindmatrix, which you can learn more about them as well as connect with them directly there, how else can someone reach out and connect with you guys?
My email, eric.weber@mindmatrix.net, mobile number 412-848-4802, mymatrix.net, or mspadvantageprogram.com. That would probably be the better one for MSPs.
Okay, excellent. And
one being Weber.
Yes.
I don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah. And what, do you guys have anything new on the horizon? Anything interest that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah. Working on a couple things. This AI chatbots for the website to help create lead website visitors.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, hey, going out to shows, it does take time and whatnot. So,
yeah,
just like from the last launch, you want to have your irons in different fires there. So, but yeah, AI chatbot we're working on. Also, an SEO piece as well. Hopefully have these out close to the end of the year is a goal.
Okay. Nice. It's always great to, everybody's got something up their sleeve, you have to. You have to, right? Otherwise, complacency kills. And so it's always great to hear about new things like that. But Eric, as always, I love having discussions with you about marketing, as again, it's something that we both have a lot of passion about. And thank you so much for your time.
Always happy to be on the stack, Dan. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you. And for everybody out there listening, thank you as well for listening to us today. Until next time, have a great rest of your day, and we will talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for listening to The Stack.